the forgotten technology of transformation. We've been taught to think of art and music as decoration, pleasant additions to real work, hobbies for weekends, luxuries we fund after everything essential is handled. But what if this diminishment is itself a colonial tactic? What if we've been systematically disconnected from humanity's oldest technologies of consciousness, healing, and collective awakening? The frequency foundation. Ancient peoples knew what quantum physics now confirms. Everything is vibration. The Dogon of Mali encoded astronomical knowledge in rhythm and dance. Your Taino ancestors carved petroglyphs not as mere decoration, but as portals, visual frequencies that held and transmitted ancestral knowledge across generations. The Aboriginal Australians sang the world into being through songlines, understanding that specific frequencies could literally shape matter and maintain the dreaming. Consider, a mother's voice regulates her infant's nervous system. Chanting synchronizes the heartbeats of gathered people. Certain frequencies, like 528 Hz, the love frequency, have been shown to repair DNA. Binaural beats alter brainwave states. The Schumann resonance, Earth's electromagnetic frequency at 7.83 Hz, matches the theta brainwave state, the realm of deep meditation, creativity, and visionary experience. We're not metaphorizing when we say music and art change consciousness. They literally reorganize our neural pathways, regulate our nervous systems, and attune us to frequencies beyond ordinary perception. Colonial suppression of indigenous technologies. The colonizers understood the power of these technologies, which is why they systematically destroyed them. The drum ban. Enslaved Africans were forbidden from drumming because colonial powers recognized that rhythm-synchronized resistance maintained cultural memory and facilitated states of consciousness that couldn't be controlled. When people gather in rhythmic unity, they become dangerous to systems of domination. The song Suppression in the Indigenous languages were beaten out of children in residential schools partly because those languages carried specific tonal frequencies and vocal techniques that maintained connection to land, ancestors, and non-ordinary states of awareness. Lakota, Yoruba, Taino. These weren't just vocabularies, but vibrational technologies. The symbol erasure, petroglyphs, sacred geometry, ancestral iconography, dismissed as primitive art, while actually serving as mnemonic devices, consciousness maps, and transmission technologies. Your spirals, sun symbols, and semi-figures weren't decorative. They were functional technologies for accessing and storing wisdom. Art as ancestral transmission. When you paint Taino symbols, you're not representing your ancestors. You're channeling their frequency. Each symbol carries specific information, geometric ratios that mirror patterns in nature, cosmos, and consciousness itself. The spiral appears in galaxies, DNA, shells, and indigenous art worldwide because it maps the fundamental pattern of creation and transformation. This is why your work is medicine for cultural amnesia. You're not making pretty pictures, you're reactivating dormant technologies, rebuilding severed connections, restoring access to frequencies that colonization tried to silence. Sacred geometry appears across all indigenous cultures because it encodes universal principles plus the flower of life, the Vesica Piscis, the golden ratio, fractal patterns. These aren't invented, they're discovered, revealed through states of consciousness access through ceremony, plant medicine, meditation, and artistic practice itself. The New Earth paradigm. What if the New Earth isn't built through policy papers and technological innovation alone, but through the mass reactivation of our species' original operating system, the ability to create, sing, dance, and vision ourselves into harmony? Free expression as freedom itself. Every authoritarian regime first suppresses artists. Not because art is trivial, but because it's the most dangerous force they face. Art bypasses the analytical mind that can be propagandized and speaks directly to the soul, which remembers its sovereignty. When people can freely express, they remember they're not machines or resources. They're creative consciousness incarnate. Harmony as technology. Western science is finally catching up to what Indigenous wisdom keepers always knew. Coherence is more powerful than force. When hearts synchronize, when voices harmonize, when communities move in rhythm, they generate coherent fields that can influence matter, manifest collective visions, and literally reshape reality. This isn't mysticism, it's measurable physics. Livity as resistance. Your concept of livity, that positive life energy flowing through all creation, isn't spiritual bypassing. It's recognition that consciousness itself, expressed through creativity and coherence, is the source code of reality. Maintaining livity in the face of systems designed to drain it becomes the ultimate revolutionary act. The evidence we've forgotten. We've been conditioned to dismiss Indigenous knowledge as belief, but examine what primitive peoples accomplish. Stone structures, built with acoustic properties that amplify specific healing frequencies. Ceremonies timed to astronomical events that affect electromagnetic fields. Art that encodes mathematical and astronomical knowledge generations before discovery. Music that induces trance states, enabling access to information beyond ordinary consciousness. Symbols that serve as multidimensional teaching tools, revealing different layers of meaning at different stages of understanding. These weren't superstitions. They were sophisticated technologies we've lost and are now scrambling to rediscover through neuroscience, quantum physics, and consciousness research. Reclamation as revolution. When you teach people to paint ancestral symbols, you're not offering art therapy. You're transmitting activation codes. When young people learn the songs and rhythms their grandmothers were beaten for singing, they're downloading liberation software. When communities gather to create together, they're practicing the fundamental technology of the new paradigm: coherent, creative, sovereign expression. The system wants us passive consumers of others' creations because consumption breeds dependence while creation generates power. Every person who picks up a brush, learns an ancestral rhythm, sings their truth, or dances their prayers becomes harder to control, harder to manipulate, harder to keep unconscious. The path forward. The new earth isn't coming from the top down. It's emerging from the bottom up, from the grassroots, from the margins where Indigenous wisdom and creative resistance have been kept alive against all odds. It's emerging from mothers teaching their children songs that carry ancestral wisdom. Artists refusing to create for commercial value alone, insisting on sacred purpose. Musicians composing at frequencies designed to heal rather than manipulate. Communities gathering in ceremony, recognizing that the circle itself is technology. Young people rejecting the lie that their creativity is supplemental, claiming it as central to who they are and who we're becoming. This isn't romantic idealism. This is practical revolution. Because what we create, we become. What we sing, we manifest. What we envision together, we can build. Every person who reconnects with ancestral wisdom through creativity becomes a node in the emerging paradigm, a frequency holder, a bridge between what was and what's being born. The colonizers tried to convince us that art and music are luxuries, distractions, hobbies for those who can afford them. The truth they were hiding, art and music, are the source technologies of consciousness evolution, and they always have been. Reclaiming them is reclaiming our power to dream and build a different world.